actually, I've been tested twice for corona.
Me too, yeah.
Really?
Oh, wait,
Because I'm a citizen, so I have a voting right.
Okay.
Oh, don't go back. You can't go back. Stay here, stay here. Stay with us. I was like, I'll be fine.
We are talking about the corona here in South Korea. You guys have been here for the whole time, right?
No.
No?
Yeah. But right when it started getting bad in Korea, my family was messaging me, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? And I had a family event. So I actually had to go to America for about a week.
In February?
At the beginning of March.
Oh.
So as soon as I arrived, everyone's like, don't go close to Joseph, corona, no, no, no. So I was like, oh my gosh. But I wasn't worried because I live in Seoul, that was in Daegu. But then when I came back, that's right when America started getting bad.
Right. Right now, even in Russia, we have a huge explosion. Russia is number 3 right now in the world in terms of the number of infected. It's not a place you want to be, probably. What about you? You came to South Korea this year, right?
Yeah, I moved here on January 3rd officially.
So basically before the whole thing exploded.
Yeah. So, I think in the months leading up to January, there was a lot of talk on the news about this new virus, but you kept getting notifications on your phone and you just think, yeah, whatever. I've got these alerts about misemonji and, it's hot weather. So you don't really notice it. But then as soon as I moved across, it started blowing up. Exactly. Everything went a bit sour in terms of social life, in terms of work life. And it was just unfortunate timing to start a new life.
But South Korea definitely is one of the safest places.
Yeah.
Because at least I feel it like that. What about you? Did you want to go back from the States here, or we're like, no, Korea is doomed?
Korea does a much better job of kind of doing those things. So I was actually excited to come back to Korea. All the American friends were like, oh, don't go back. You can't go back. Stay here, stay here. Stay with us. I was like, I'll be fine.
Just as I said, I live close to Itaewon, right? And during that outbreak, I don't actually go to Itaewon because I live in the area that is quite far from Itaewon. I did get the text message from the government, I guess it was Seoul Metropolitan Government, that if you are in the area and you have any symptoms or you just suspect that you might have any symptoms, you can go to the 보건소 and just say that you are from Itaewon and it will be completely free. Did you get tested for coronavirus?
Yeah, so actually I've been tested twice for corona.
Me too, yeah.
Really?
Oh wait, social distancing. I'm sorry. No.
You're not supposed to do that.
손소독제, 빨리.
Good. Keep clean.
You gave me too much.
I've been tested twice as well. So the first time was, again, in my intermediary period when I just moved across. It was the start of March. And the second time, I went to Itaewon at the end of April. I was at a bar on something like a Tuesday night, just hanging out with a friend. And when you go into the bars now, there's something like a sign-in sheet. You need to put your name, your phone number, and if you're wearing a mask, if you have any symptoms. Now, 2 weeks later, or the next week after that, I got a call from the government saying there's been an outbreak in Itaewon.
4월 30일에 이태원 놀러 갔었는데 어제는 정부에서 연락이 왔습니다. 검진해야 된다. 또 다시 코로나 검진. Oh no. You get tested. Now we're here in the 강서구 보건소.
두 군데 검사해드릴게요. 먼저 해주세요. 소금 주는 건 60kg로 가주시고 또 힘드셔요. 70kg 계세요? 편안하게.
it was free this time, but I ended up having to cancel everything on the weekend because you got to wait for the result to come out.
Why did you do it twice?
So the first time I had it, I had like a weird 느낌, like a weird feeling in my lungs. It hurt. Like whenever I lay down, it hurt. I'm like, this is something I've never felt. This must be corona, right? And then I had a fever. So on top of that, so I was like, I probably should go test this. So I went to, it's called Mapo-gucheong. It's in Mapo where I live. So I went there, I walked in, and I got tested. And I actually started tweeting about it because I thought it was such an easy experience to get tested that I thought I should probably share it with like my American friends and others to show how cool this is. So I got tested, and then within 24 hours, I got my results back. And it came as a negative. It was negative, luckily. But my lungs still hurt. Like, just because I got a negative test doesn't mean I feel okay. So I'm like, what should I do? So I went to, like, the best hospital in Korea. I can't admit this, but it's Yonsei Pyongwon. Yeah. But it's a good hospital. So I went there to say, why do my lungs hurt? But they said, we want you to get tested again. So then I got tested again, and again it came back as negative. So luckily enough, I had two experiences, but they both were great. In America, there's actually this new word that they've come up with. It's kind of like COVIDiot. So it's COVIDiot. Basically, people who aren't managing COVID and not doing a good job of keeping themselves safe.
That's basically you, yeah.
I learned my lesson. I went and I got tested. I paid money for my test, unlike some people who haven't been tested at all. Not practicing social distancing, but look, I learned my lesson. I haven't been out since that time, and please, guys, stay at home. Enjoy. Play PlayStation or eat. Order delivery, you know, like, come on.
Very good. He's improved. No longer COVID. Congrats.
I think one thing that's really interesting in Korea, received mixed feedback from overseas, but you can't argue with results, is the fact that the tracking of people who get corona is so rigorous here. So somebody gets it, immediate family, people in the building, everyone gets ordered to do a test. And that's something that's really helped with the control, but in other countries, because of certain privacy laws, you're not able to get that depth as to where people have been, who they've interacted with. I think that's the most interesting part.
Conveying this information to the people. In Korea, probably it's the same thing you're referring to later. Like the social responsibility, people know that it actually for their best. And everyone uses that, masks and hand sanitizers. That's the basic and very crucial components of the whole thing, of the whole battle.
And it's kind of tied into the hand washing culture as well. So I think there was a great education campaign in Korea saying, wash your hands for 30 seconds. And then the next step was the introduction of this hand sanitizer. And it was such a natural progression that people just played along.
They made the announcements in the subway stations. They made announcements in the buses. Like everywhere you go, literally, you can hear that you have to wash your hands more than 30 seconds. And you see all those pictures and videos about how you need to wash your hands, how to need to place your masks correctly on the face. So yeah, that was a very huge campaign the government did.
Okay, now leaving China, heading out to South Korea. That's where all the fear is going to be. Okay, now I'm back on the plane. Looks like everybody on this plane is wearing a mask. On the way off the plane, we stopped. They actually took this little gun and measured my temperature on the way in. Clearly, they're cleaning everything, even on the rails. whenever people's hands are, they clearly want to see it cleaned up.
And South Korea, as far as I know, was one of the first ones to implement the smartphone application to track actually people who are coming into the country. And right now, as far as I know, everyone who enters South Korea needs to download that app.
Really?
Yeah, and they are tracking you in real time, like where are you right now and what are you doing right now.
Yeah.
That definitely helps to, control and to, narrow the possible ways of spreading of the virus.
So basically you can see where people who have corona have been, so you know where to avoid. So initially that was just online, but there was a few developers who actually took that data and made an app out of it.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that I downloaded the app and thought it was so interesting that I can know, like, don't go here. If you're going to go here, go this way instead. Like me and lots of people, I think, avoid places where if you'd gone, you definitely could have got sick. So that not just in like preventing it, but also even after people have got it, helping people get that information and be aware of what's going on. Korea's done a great job.
So back in April, when Korea was actually doing the elections, which was the first of its time during this sort of pandemic, I was on the streets taking a video for my YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, yeah. And then I saw that there were people campaigning, like big groups of people on trucks going and saying, yeah, vote for me. How, like, that's kind of shocking for me.
I saw that as well, and I actually graduated from 외국인과, so like political science at 고대, 민족고대.
서울대, come on, bro, let's go. 서울대.
Oh no!
Yo, we got all of the
Social distancing, no! I studied political science there. When I saw this, I was like, I wonder how Corona will affect the election. Will it be better for Yodang or will it be better for like Yadang, for the conservatives or for the liberals? It was really kind of a totally new political situation that political scientists can study and think about. Really interesting.
Well, I did vote.
Oh, really? What?
Because I'm a citizen, so I have a voting right.
Okay.
That was not my first vote. I did the presidential votes back in 2017 and then the municipal ones back in 2018.
Okay.
Everything started at the entrance, so people were there and they checked your temperature first. Then you went inside, you sanitize your hands, and they hand you those like plastic gloves. Like you don't touch anything, like absolutely anything.
Really smart.
Then you line up for the person who checks your ID, and of course you have to keep your social distancing because like we have all the marks on the floor to stay away from each other, like 1.5 meters, 2 meters. Then you get the ballot, and you go and you vote and you cast your ballot. It's interesting, and it's really, really, I would say it's a great example of how you do need to organize a huge crowds of people. That was amazing. And as far as I know, South Korea was the only one who did the elections during this pandemic. Lots of countries postponed it because of the, but South Korea did it. There is a very interesting word in Korean that's been on a rise recently during this pandemic, and it's 덕분에. This word has been used a lot recently because of the work that has been done by the government, or all the hard work that has been done by the doctors and nurses and all the medical staff here in South Korea. There is this gesture that people use and post on their social media sites to express their gratitude towards the medical staff here in Korea. So I guess we should do that too, and to express our gratitude for this country that does such a great job. When doing this, you have to actually utter those words. You have to pronounce that 덕분에.
덕분에 campaign.
덕분에 챌린지.
의료진 덕분에.
여러분 덕분에